One of the most important things we can do as teachers is involve our families in our students' education. As you're probably well aware, the most influential thing on a student is the family, so it's really important that we involve them in the active learning process of the student. Knowing about a student's family can be crucial to knowing the student themselves and ensuring that they have a successful time in your classroom. However, it is very important to keep in mind that far too often in today's world that our students come from unsupportive families or single-parent households or non-traditional families, so it's important to keep an open mind when it comes to what family you're considering when you're talking to your students. In her book, The Challenge to Care in the Classroom, Nell Noddings talks about different levels of relationships that we encounter throughout our lives. There are both equal and unequal relationships. In the classroom, you'll often encounter the unequal relationship of the student-teacher and the parent-child. It's very important that you remember that although you as a teacher are above the student, you don't want to lord over them or act like you're better than them just because you're older or wiser. Noddings talks about how the student-teacher relationship, though not as close as the parent-teacher relationship, is still crucial to the student's development. For some students, relationships with teachers are often more important than their relationship with their parents. It's important to remember that if you cultivate one of these relationships with a student, that you'll have an effect on them for the rest of their lives. Going back to Nell Noddings, she quotes Michael Buber in her book while she's discussing the intricacies of the student-teacher relationship. Michael Buber, writing in 1965, stated that it was very important that teachers take on the task of inclusion, that is, seeing their own perspective as well as that of their students, and making sure to manage both of those viewpoints. One of the criticisms of working with families is, like I said, not all students have supportive families, so make sure that you do not assume that your students will have both a mother and father at home waiting with brownies at the end of the day. Ways to stay connected to your students' families are simple. You can send home weekly newsletters or make calls home when something good happens. Make sure you don't always call when something bad happens because you want your parents to see your students the way that you see them, as both good and bad. So this concludes our brief web series on Tier 1 intervention. For more information, you can see the books that we've cited in previous videos, and make sure to check out Carol Weinstein's book, Secondary Classroom Management. At the end of this, there will be a link to go back to the beginning if you want to start all over or expand further on your knowledge. Thank you!